Hello, and welcome to another Saturday food support group. We have these Zoom meetings every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I just invite people to come and to share their stories because I've had so many people reach out to me in private messages and tell me their stories. And I just couldn't keep it for myself. I had to share with you all of the beautiful things that are happening when people break their addiction to sugar and carbs and processed food. And they get their brains back, they get their bodies back, they get their lives back. And they're just so excited that they can't wait to tell. And so I informed everyone that I would be recording these meetings, and I encouraged them that if they wanted to remain anonymous, that they can turn the camera off. But a lot of people they want to share. They want to share what has happened to them, and they're so excited about their new life. And then I also open it up for questions. If people are still struggling and they're still on this journey, that they can come and ask questions. But if you need more individualized care than just in a group like this, feel free to email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com, and I'll walk you through what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right, thanks. I hope you enjoy the group. Happy Saturday. We are starting another one of our Saturday support groups. And we just get together every Saturday and we talk about what's worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, and just keep this support of, navigating food and how it interacts with our physical and our mental health. So today we have a great example of some good things and bad things that have been navigated with our friend Erin. So Erin, would you like to share your story?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Emily, for having me come talk with everybody. Let's see. I've been a carnivore for exactly a year. And the reason that I decided to try this lifestyle is I have severe scoliosis. So I have curves in my back. I have a couple that are greater than 59 degrees. So it's been kind of an interesting battle with dealing with chronic pain. In 2018, I had been hiking like 45 miles in 5 days with my husband, Steve. I mean, I'd been pretty athletic up to that point. Something slipped in my back and I'm not able to all of a sudden do things I used to be able to do, like brush my teeth while standing at the end of the day or shower standing by the end of the day, just because sadly, the pain was too excruciating going down my legs and spine. So needless to say, we went to lots of specialists, lots of orthopedic surgeons, and I'm no stranger to seeing specialists since I was a child because of this issue. And I came to about in 2020, when everything kind of locked down, it gave me the opportunity, which was just a blessing from the Lord, to start learning about natural ways to deal with chronic pain instead of just the therapies that I've been given from my doctors. I learned about intermittent fasting and lowering your insulin, how that really can affect how your cells and nerves react with pain of all things. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I really did give it a go with intermittent fasting and it did help, but I like to eat and I feel better eating instead of feeling kind of lightheaded. So for myself, now blesses other people, but for myself, it wasn't the best fit, but I did know that there was something with lowering insulin that I needed to learn more about that would help my body. So I navigated further, learned about the keto lifestyle, started listening to the Low Carb MD podcast. They're a great set of physicians that have other speakers on. It's a lot of clinicians, a lot of personal testimonies about people's lives that are blessed with the keto diet. Again, keto is low carb, under 28 carbs, some people 30 carbs. So I did that for 3 months and had more success with getting my pain to kind of knock down a little bit further. But man, those vegetables, they really kill my gut. So then I on that podcast heard Dr. Sean Baker speak, And I thought he was a nut. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're only eating meat? Like that can't be right. That can't be good for you. Um, but I thought, you know what? Like if he's stating that it helps lower insulin and makes you more metabolically healthy, that's what I'm going for. Just in my own search of like trying to get that pain to kind of numb down a little further. What do I have to lose, right? So April
Yeah.
6th, 2021, I made that final jump to try carnivore. Why not? My husband, thankfully, was desperate as well for me to feel better and was supportive for me to give it a go. Um, Within that first 7 days, I was blown away. Like, because I thought, oh, I won't have like that big of a change because I was already in ketosis. Like, I had a ketosis monitor, being keto. I thought can't be that different jumping from keto to carnivore. But within that first 7 days, Emily, I was shocked. Like, I was like, what the heck? My pain level that had been like a constant 7 to 9. And I was so good at faking it around other people as far as like acting like, oh, I'm fine. I'm not in pain. Everything's great. Um, it all of a sudden became like a 5. And I'm like, wow, 1 week of just eating meat, all of a sudden I'm able to start like doing more and more around the house. I'm starting to feel good. I'm sleeping better through the night just from changing what I put in my mouth. Um, and here we are, a year later. I'm literally at I don't know, there's days I hardly feel it. So like 1 to 3, yeah, 1 to 3 on the pain level, and nothing has changed except for only eating meat. I mean, I sound like such a zealot. I'm like,
I
this is so
know.
crazy. But God is good. Who would know that, truly your body is so miraculous with how cells react to foods that cause inflammation, that something that's genetic, such as severe scoliosis, can be impacted just by only eating meat. I'm so grateful to the Lord to learn about this life.
And I mean, you weren't just kind of in pain
No,
for
I
when
was,
I heard your story about you had to sit down to brush your
yeah,
teeth, I was
right.
like, that's legit. Like that's
Yeah,
legit pain.
right. And again, my entire life wasn't that way. It just began, something again happened with the way my spine is situated. That in 2018, it finally got to the point where, yeah, like walking in the grocery, I would find every excuse to all of a sudden, every other aisle, stoop down, dig around in my purse as though I'm like trying to find something, even though I'm just really needing a break from my back. Um, just because I couldn't stand, like I could not stand any longer because the pain is just so severe. I mean, a lot of people understand with sciatica, or if you have MS or other things, like you get to that point, your body says you're done. You are going to stop and do what it says. Like you can't overpower it at that point. So I'm just so grateful to find this way of eating. So blown away. I see one of
Absolutely.
my buddies. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I see Caramel. Sorry. I got so excited.
Yay. No, you are not the first person. I can't tell you how many times we've been in a meeting and someone has stopped the meeting and is like, I'm sorry, can I say hi to Karen?
Sorry. There's so many people that are wonderful showing up. Oh, Melt That Snow's on too. I love her as well.
uh
Sorry.
no, that's fine. That's fine. And that's why I have these meetings, because it is great to just kind of like get together.
Right.
But I gotta say that if y'all don't follow at carnivore.diva, please do.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
there are so many times that I feel like we're friends. Like
Right.
I feel like I'm in on your lunch breaks with you. I feel like I go to work with you and I go to Costco with you,
And vice
and
versa.
it's so fun because you make it real life. Like
Oh,
you don't make it like this big lofty goal of, eating this way. You show me like every day how you do the nuts and bolts, the basic
oh.
things. And the last time I was at Costco, I went and I was like, and I have like severe allergies with my autoimmune
Oh.
disease. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try a hot dog. And I tried a hot dog with mustard and it was delicious and I didn't have any reactions.
Yay, good.
I
That's
know.
exciting.
I was so excited. I was just like, I can just be like carnivore diva. Like, this is so fun.
But you know what, Emily, to that point, like just in the fact that, like you're saying, making it relatable. With Karen Miles and Kelly Hogan, those are the first two ladies that I heard on a podcast, just like you're doing for people viewing this, hopefully on YouTube, that are looking for a solution, looking for something to try that's all natural. These ladies, they gave their story. They told their perspective from their point of view that was from the heart. It wasn't like trying to show clinical data that proves their point. It was their testimony given firsthand. And when I started hearing like, oh, these ladies are educated, by the way, they're both teachers, so I'm going to trust them a little more because they have students, they have like their goal is to teach others. So when they gave their story, I thought, okay, well, they're not nutcases. They're not weird. Like they are, you're not, Karen. You know what I'm saying? Like they made it something that's like, well, if they've tried it, they've found success for their own bodies. I might as well give it a whirl. I mean, what's the harm in just putting meat in my mouth for a week? All right. And here we are, like a year later, like it has been truly a miracle for myself. Am I 100% cured? No. But is my life 100% better? Yes. Yes. And like, so there's that. I'm just so grateful. So thank you, Emily, for you having a platform for other people to learn from you and your story and everything you're doing for people suffering with chronic pain and autoimmune issues, or just trying to get their life healthier. And cool. That's what we're all here to do.
Absolutely. And I think that starts with stories, because whenever I was so mentally ill and so physically ill, it's almost like I had like these blinders on where
Right.
all I saw was my pain. All I
Right.
felt was my pain.
Right.
And I couldn't read a scientific journal. There's no way I could have listened to a 3-hour podcast where people talk about macros and micros and, the whatever scientific studies. There's no way, but I could hear a story,
Right.
a little story. Like, how long did that take you? It's 13 minutes. How long did that take you to tell your story? And if I was at the beginning of this so mentally and physically ill, I could listen to your story for 13 minutes, but I couldn't read like a whole big thing. Like my brain was just on survival mode.
Correct.
And so that's why I do these meetings. And that's why I think it's so important for us to just share what happened to us, and it will reach the ears of the people that need to hear it. And just to give them a glimpse of hope,
That's
just
all
to
you
give
need.
them, just to like, honestly, you probably, I don't know what your experience was, but you probably thought that this was at the end, that you were going to continue to be on pain meds and have pain when you brush your teeth and when you shower. Like you didn't think there was any hope.
I mean, my only hope is, I'm a devout Christian. So like
Yeah.
For me, I always have hope ultimately that Jesus is there no matter what my suffering is. But as far as like continuing to age, I'm 38, and at that point I was 37 and I'm like, oh my gosh, at that point I was, in a practice manager and trying to help with a full-time business and my husband's business. And it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like my body's 90. Like, how am I supposed to keep going at this rate? And continue to age gracefully and get more muscle, because I couldn't even work out, period. Like I couldn't even stand to like cook at times. I was the old lady already that had the chair pulled up to the counter to cook, and cooking is my everything. I love that. So when I started noticing within those first couple of weeks of just only eating meat products, I mean, I still kept my coffee. And then initially I had a different handle because I didn't know that you could have coffee. So I thought I called myself carnivorish.life because I thought, well, I'm not straight carnivore. Oh, sorry, we're going to have a photo
That's okay.
bomb with my cat here. because I didn't really know how carnivore worked. So like I had coffee and I thought that might not make me carnivore. But all that to say, in those first couple of weeks, I started feeling so much better and being able to do more and more things. My hope was like, wow, wait a second, I'm not having to rely on my TENS unit as much. I'm not able to say I'm too exhausted. I can go hang out with my family a little bit more. Like things just kept adding on more and more. It was cool. Now, did I have some side effects from going carnivore in the beginning? Yes. There are some real side effects that your body definitely goes through. It's not all
Yes.
like peaches and roses immediately
No.
going in. Like people think, oh, you feel so good. No, the first couple of weeks of carnivore, just for anybody new or that's curious or wanting to go on, I was exhausted. Like your
Yes.
body definitely is trying to figure out how to switch even further into fat burning mode instead of using any of those carbs from vegetables, even if those are vegetables that are super low carb, it's still using those carbs. And I didn't realize I would be so fatigued just from switching to meat. And then all of a sudden, I'd say it took my body maybe 6 weeks before I started getting more energy. But at the same time, I felt so good, like pain
Yeah.
wise. And I kept seeing the difference. I was like, I don't care how tired I am. This is definitely better than having severe, excruciating pain. So trade off, right? I knew something good was happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think of it almost like two roads where, you just get to this point where whenever you make this decision to try, carnivore and you start going and you're like, ooh, like there's a couple of bumps in this road.
Yeah.
But then I talk to my clients and I'm like, yeah, but do you want to go back? And they're like,
No.
no, like, no. And so it's really a journey,
Yeah.
it really is a process. And Erin, I got to tell you, you're going to be shocked. You're not going to recognize yourself in a year from now.
Cool.
I mean, the healing continues. And it reminds me so much of it, growing up and stuff, going from glory to glory with the Lord. Like
Right.
that's what he has for us. He wants to bless his children and give his children good gifts and bless us abundantly. And so as we continue to keep on this process, it is phenomenal the way the human body can heal whenever it just, and it's not that we're, saying that the meat is everything and the fat is everything. It's the removing of
Correct.
the sugar and the carbs.
Yep. That's
And
it.
I couldn't remove the sugar and the carbs if I didn't add in the meat and the fat.
Correct.
And so that was just the quickest route for me.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so
No,
much,
thank you guys
Erin.
as well. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you are humored by my silly Costco runs.
No,
I truly
love them.
I truly like I just I try to I just pop on there and put whatever I'm humored by, and I figure, I don't know. It's just silly and fun and lighthearted, and
I love it. Well, and I feel your personality from those because it's just, and I think it's just so close and it's just right there. And you're just so real in, the videos. And, I know this sounds weird, but I feel like such an alien eating this way in my everyday life that whenever I get to connect on a real everyday level with somebody else who eats this way, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm not alone.
And
So
that's precisely what Instagram has done for me. Like I've left Instagram twice. Karen knows that, like, because it gets overwhelming sometimes and I have to take breaks. And there are some creepy people out there.
Yes.
That you have to bless and block.
Yes.
But one thing that I truly am blessed by is exactly what you're saying. I'm the only carnivore I know. I am the only in Indiana. Okay. Well, that's not true. Trudy Miller's out there. She's wonderful too. And she's nearby in Muncie. But personally know in face to face that I talk to face to face and I've met, I don't know anybody that I've met face to face that I interact with on a daily basis that's living this life,
No.
like it's such a foreign thing to people. Even my mother, God bless her. She's got such a Jewish mentality of like eat, eat, eat. But everything she feeds me or tries to feed, I don't eat it. Even up to last week, it was like, oh, I made a good salad. How about you have some salad? Oh, wait, you don't eat that. And it's like, we're a year into this. It's just, you be gracious and loving, but it's so encouraging when you pop on Instagram and you see other people that are like, yeah, it's totally fine that you're just eating meat. You get that support that what you're doing is okay, even when your family who loves you and adores you can't understand this way of living because it's too foreign. Like you said, being an alien, even though my mother clearly sees, my entire family clearly sees the difference and they are blown away. Because even last week, my mom's like, wow, like, is it really just because you're eating a lot of meat and fat? And she's like, wow, you haven't gotten fat and you're eating all of that. Because I'll sit there and I'll pound down like 3 to 4 hamburgers easily at like the family dinner, or have bacon or add bacon grease on top of my hamburger, like icing, if the burger's cold enough, or put extra butter or I'll just eat butter by itself. If a snack, because she doesn't have a lot of meat at her house. So I've gotten her into Kerrygold, gold, thank God. So I eat that sometimes in her fridge. All that to say, carnivore is rough by yourself, but finding a community, just like Emily, you're providing through your YouTube channel, through your calls, it's so important because it feels so lonely when you shut off the social media platforms and you sit there by yourself thinking, okay, it's just me and God doing this. That's cool. It's helpful. But man, you just need that personal relationships to say, hey, I'm with you. I understand this is rough at times, but there's so much blessing in living this lifestyle.
It is. And I do wish that we had another place. But I don't know. There's been many times that I'm like, can we just shut this all down? Can I put an ad in the newspaper? Like,
I know, right?
Can we do something like anything? But for some reason, that's the place right now.
Right.
To be able to help people. And I just focus on the positive. Every time I have like a negative, icky, creepy interaction, I remember the 5 personal messages that I got of people who are laying in bed and cannot function mentally or physically.
Right.
And they say that I gave them hope just by my words.
That's so precious.
And I know that everywhere we go, it is a spiritual battle, physically or virtually. So I just need to pray ahead of time and go, okay, I'm going into battle. I'm going back to go and rescue these people.
Lord, love that.
You got to go before me, God. You got to go before me because I don't want to interact with these, creepy people.
Right.
And it works. And I'm not to the place of Kelly Hogan yet where I can go into TikTok. That's terrifying.
You know what? We each have our areas though, that I think that we're supposed to be at. So it's okay. We just need everybody to do their own giftings and their own journey and tell their own story. So I think that's awesome because then you can have the people that enjoy TikTok be in TikTok. And yeah, God bless Kelly being a warrior out there, because I'm not strong enough to be able to put up with all that drama that comes with TikTok. But look at how many people she's reaching that are just like you and me, that are needing to say, wait a second, you're doing what? Is that a thing? Like, and that's helping you? Huh? I mean, it's just those little seeds of information that over time, once you hear it a couple of times, you might think, why not give it a try? It's not like I have to buy anything extra except for a couple pounds of meat at the end of the week and stop eating the other things and see if I feel better. I didn't need a doctor for that. I didn't need to buy a certain supplement for that. I just needed to change what I put in my mouth.
And it's so amazing that you can get $1, what is it, $1.50 or $1 hot dog at Costco,
and the fake Topo Chico. Sparkling water is my thing. And I like Topo Chico, but it's expensive. And I like hitting that diet Sierra Mist or not diet, the Sierra Mist button or the Sprite button at any place you go. There's a little lever, and that's where you can get the carbonated water right next to it and not get the sugar. And it's good.
I love how practical you make this. I love it. And there's a question in the chat for you. Are you going to the Illinois meetup?
Oh, Karen, I'm trying. So I'm hoping to go. Trying to figure out logistics with whether or not I can get my husband Steve to drive with me. I like am so directionally inept that driving by myself for hours is
Yeah.
not a good idea, even with MapQuest. So I'm worried that Steve says that worst case scenario, he might go. I'm trying to talk my little sister Megan into going with me, who is now an omnivore because she was a vegan for 2 years.
Wow.
And she started having some issues that finally I'm like, just please eat some meat and see if you feel better. And then sure enough, thank God she's feeling much better in those areas. Trying to get her to go. She's like, but I don't know if I'm ready to be around all those carnivores. And I'm like, we're not scary. She's like, I know. She's like, but they're going to think I'm weird because I was a vegan. I'm like, Megan, first of all, nobody has to know. Secondly, a lot of ex-vegans and ex-vegetarians are carnivore. This isn't a religion. We're not a cult. Like,
No,
it's just
no.
hanging out with a bunch of other people who
And
are
honestly,
cool.
Erin, that's another reason why I started these meetings and why I record them and put them up on YouTube, because I want to show people how normal we are and how like our
Karen.
conversations behind closed doors are just like this.
Yeah.
Like it's not this weird cultish, thing. It really is, we eat meat and we don't take away somebody's carnivore card for drinking coffee,
Right. And like Weight Watchers, I have not met anybody who sat there and said, well, Weight Watchers is a cult and God forbid you go to one of their meetings. No, they realize that people are trying to get help and they're trying to find a way to lose weight for that instance. Like, what a wonderful platform to try to find something, but low carb's better if you ask me, because I'm an ex-Weight Watcher, so I know. But all that to say, yeah, we're normal people just coming together to say you're not alone in this.
And just doing what is working for us.
Yeah.
You can brush your teeth. Like,
yeah,
that's a no-brainer. Yeah, you're doing something that works for you.
I don't have to sit on the floor to shower at the end of the day. Or there's so many things that I'm relieved of. I counted. I've only used my TENS unit. I think a total of 4 times. 4. That's it. In the last year, and that's because of this huge change. Before I was living with my TENS unit on at all times. Just not that it takes away the pain, but it distracts your brain from the pain. And all that to say, that's all just from change. Now, why did I wear that TENS unit? Because I deviated from my diet and I had normal meals. And sure enough, within a couple of days, it wasn't the first day. It's usually within day 2 or 3 from eating that meal that my pain comes back, and it stays back for a couple of days.
Yep. And honestly, Erin, I know this sounds mean and horrible, but I feel like I'm lucky because I have that. I think that you're lucky that you have that, like almost like when you're bowling and you got the bumpers on, like you just gotta stay in your lane.
I have to stay in my lane. Yeah.
When you deviate, it just doesn't work.
Right.
And so I've found that because of my autoimmune disease, I'm thankful that it just keeps me in my lane. It just keeps me eating.
That's a good perspective. Definitely a good perspective.
When I eat out of it, I'm just like, ooh, that's what I'm leaving. That's what I'm not going back to at all.
And it makes it easier. It sounds so wrong as you're saying that, but it makes it easier for people like my husband, who initially was like, oh my gosh, your cholesterol is going to be horrible and you're going to get a heart attack from your high cholesterol, which by the way, my triglycerides are like amazing. They're like in the 57. Yay! And then my cholesterol is high, but my HDL is, I think it was 77. And my LDL is up there 180. But guess what? I don't think that's an issue anymore. But all that to say, when my husband sees me eat normal food for a meal, and then a couple of days later, he knows I can't fake it in front of him. And I get out that TENS unit when it happens, or he knows my face and I'll be like, oh, it's because of what you ate. You're in pain again, aren't you? And then he knows, he's like, never mind, just eat meat. Like, and so it's helpful for him to see that this way of living is helping me. And so therefore it helps him be on board and not be afraid of the cholesterol issue or saturated fat that's so ingrained in our body and our thinking of what health is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So thank you.
My son, I went to a movie with him and I got him these little Dove chocolates. And I was like, hey, let me try one of those. And he goes, no, Mom, you won't be able to walk again.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, baby. Oh, okay. Okay. You know, like
yes.
I'm going to go ahead and go with that
I love
because
that.
he's right. I mean, it could be one bite. And then if I binge for, you know, a day, I could have my MS symptoms come back. Like he's very correct. And he recognizes that sugar and whatever chemicals are in that chocolate, you know, that would contribute to my autoimmune disease, you know? So I just stay between the lines.
Yeah. So all that to say, I'm trying to figure out how to get to the meetup. I'd say there's a 75% chance I'm going to get there. I got to I'll get with Karen later. Cause I see her pointing, about that. I'm trying to figure out the hotels side of things and all that. So we'll figure it out.
I mean, let me just ask you this. If Emily Penton goes, will you go?
No, I can't. I can't, but thank you. Thank you so much.
I tried.
Emily, are you going? Emily?
No.
I mean,
is Emily?
She's Emily also.
Other
Emily's.
Emily. Well, you know, I work with Cherish hand in hand. I know she's very involved. And so I can't say that it's impossible. I would just love to hang out with you guys. So, you know, it's not
That'd
completely impossible.
The more the merrier. I'll figure it out. I got to get down there.
It's just a process. I have behind the scenes stuff going on with my family that just does not allow me to travel at this point.
Yeah.
But whenever I can travel, I will. I absolutely will. But it's just not in the cards today.
We'll have to come to you sometime, Emily. That's all there is.
Oh, sounds good.
Thank you. Good.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for your story. I appreciate it so much. And next, we are going to have Emily Harvo tell us her story. I know that you've been to the meetings before, but I've never had you take the floor and tell us your experience. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Sure. I'll tell what I can. I mean, I love how these can just be places for us all to just gather ideas and understand from each other. And I'm always happy to talk about my journey. You can always call on me for that, Emily. It's no issue. So some of the things I was just kind of going off of what I've heard discussed today. I'm so sad. I actually missed Erin's the beginning. And so I'm
scoliosis and severe pain.
And at what age did this start becoming an issue for you?
I've always had pain to some level. I wore a back brace for many years throughout my childhood. But in 2018, after hiking for 45 miles through Utah mountains, like I slipped something when we were coming home, and I haven't been the same since with my spine. So age 30, 4, I'm 38 now, so I can't count. So 34 is when I started going downhill.
Oh, no, I heard that there was like a massive incident, a huge pain, something. So I just was curious what that was.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, no, I love it. So I was just thinking about that. There's been a lot of talk about what was it about carnivore? Is it the adding of the meat, or is it the taking away of the inflammatory issues? And so for me, they both happened together, but I was so benefited by keto, benefited by fasting. You know, all these things were a huge part of my journey. I was very morbidly obese. So I was at 300 pounds. And I'm 50 years old right now, but
how tall are you?
5'8". How tall are you, Emily?
5'8".
I thought so. This is so cute. Oh my gosh.
I'm 5'8" too, about my spine is straight.
Tall girls.
I'm shrinking though.
Yes, I know that happens. Karen says I'm 5'5".
5 foot.
5'5".
Oh, 5'5".
Okay, gotcha. I love it. So my background was depression, morbid obesity, anxiety, low mood, all of the things that come along with depression. I actually hadn't even started talking about that aspect of my journey until just this last week. I did a live with Brett, and that's his main thing, this mental health, right? That's one of the main thing that Brett Lloyd talks about. And so he kind of dug deeper into that. And so it was really interesting. I found myself on a live earlier this week, like spilling my guts. I was like, oh, okay.
I watched every word of that. It was very good.
Okay.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you. And this group itself, I mean, I've been able to come for quite some time, but the vulnerability that you invite and the fearlessness that you invite is very unique, and
Mm.
is that you hold space for anything that somebody wants to talk about from their past, is fair game here. And so I thank you for doing that. That's
Well,
just
I do it
powerful.
intentionally because I've been through some really dark things that I don't even talk about on social media. And I think the most painful thing is when nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
There's people in my town that know what has happened to me, and
Mm,
they see me at Walmart and they don't talk about it. And that
mm,
hurts worse than anything. So let's go to the pain. Let's go
yeah.
to it and let's talk about it. Then you can have the light shown on that and the healing
Hmm.
begins.
I love it.
So it's important to uncover that pain. So go ahead, Emily. Thank you so
Thank
much for saying
you.
that.
No, it's just amazing because we have all of the superficial levels. Oh, the weight loss. Well, okay, I had a big weight loss. And so I had a weight loss. I did a lot of fasting, I did a lot of keto, and that kind of helped some of the inflammation with my brain for sure. Got a lot of the weight off. I started around 300 in 2017. I had gotten down to 190s in over the next couple, like 3 years. But the issue that I wasn't happy with my health journey, as my body looked fine. I was kind of like you, Emily, that I enjoyed my body a lot of different sizes. And so that wasn't like a huge issue. I did not like my energy and my mood.
Mm,
My energy was so low. I just couldn't keep up. I didn't have stamina. I got tired so quickly. And I for sure had massive brain fog, bad mood, definitely depression, anxiety. That point when I had gotten 3 years into my weight loss journey, I was still very food addicted. And so on the keto road, it didn't fix it for me. So for me, that sweet flavor was a really big issue. The nut butters, the artificial sweeteners on top of it, the always kind of trying to create these treats and everything. So carnivore was like, I wanted to know what it was like to be free from sweet addiction and sugar addiction. I was still having binges. My fasts, as successful as they were, I was still having a rebound period where I'd probably over fasted. And
mm,
so it would go the other way. And then I would have the self-esteem, and it had sort of become another yo-yo situation. It became another yo-yo diet. And so my hope with carnivore, with accounts like JC and Brett, actually were the first two accounts that caught my attention, because they talked so much about the mental health issue and the mental health healing. And so this was phenomenal for me to just think about and could I try a life that I was non-addicted, that would still be beneficial to my health? So I started my carnivore journey January 2nd, 2021. So I'm about 15 months
wow.
in.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. I feel so good. And I got mental benefits from it immediately. I lost another, 40, 50 pounds. So I'm now, 140, 150. I don't pay attention to that too much. But it's, it feels good. My body feels good. I love feeling lean. I love having energy. So I have definitely learned that fat was crucial for me. Fat was
Yes.
so important for my
Yes.
mental health. Oh my goodness. And so anybody that promotes that, I snack on butter, I have butter with my stuff. Oh, I got into this browned butter, where so part of my food prep is that I make massive amounts of browned butter. My family loves it. And so it turns out being these little discs, or you
Yeah.
can put them in candy molds, or whatever you want. But then it's like my little calm vitamin. It's like this little, I can just, if my brain is needing that calming effect of animal fat, that's just a quick source. Like I know for you, you do the frozen fat, right? Those
Yeah,
are
I'm
the,
actually, I react to the casein in butter and I can't
yeah,
eat butter. Um,
exactly.
but I love your idea with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. But as women, and for all of us, we just need that calming fat. And so whatever it is, it's a food prep issue, is what it is. We just need to get ahead and have our meat cookies available if that's what we jam on, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter like what animal food it is, whatever animal food that you thrive on. To do that self-care, to me, it's like the best kind of self-care there is, because it's something applicable. It's not a self-care that's like, tell yourself something better in your head, have a mantra. Like, not that I'm opposed to those things. Those are fine. We have to have good steering of our mentality. But when it's a self-care that is like, literally make yourself lots of steaks and have them available, feed yourself a steak, make these fats available. It's such a like a practical thing that we can do, that I feel like it just elevates our thoughts of whether we're worthwhile, whether our health matters, whether our mental health matters. And it's such like a pragmatic, actionable thing that we're doing for ourselves to specifically nourish our health. So yeah, I'm big on food prep. I'm big on I do what's called freezer to air fryer, right? So I'm big on just like easy, like I know you do that. You prep all your meat up, it's good to go, you eat it frozen. So you don't have to think about that issue. But yeah, it has been amazing. I have such neutrality and honesty towards things in my life that I didn't have when I was carb addicted and sugar addicted. And so eating carnivore for me has been night and day difference between coping as my true self. And I did an interview with Stephen not too long ago, and he said, what would you tell the younger Emily? And
Mm.
yeah, what looking back, what would you tell her he said, what would you tell your old self? And so this was coming from, I'm at 50 and I'm looking back to maybe when I was in my 30s, and when all this morbid obesity had, really, really exploded and gone to be a big effect with, and the mental trouble as well. And I was just like, I would want her to tell her how young she's going to feel when she's 50. Like,
Wow.
the old me felt old, and the aged me, or the seasoned me, or the 50-year-old me, I have never felt this good. Like, I'm not even like as a teenager, I'm thinking, because as a teenager my nutrition was still poor. And so just the energy and the wholeness and the wellness that is like my core right now is it's priceless. And I never would have believed it. I saw people on IG like sharing about this. And so I wanted to believe it. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
think, yeah, you could really feel this good. You could feel this whole, you could feel, it doesn't like solve your problems or anything, but you just have this like inner strength to cope with your problems. And you don't have the noise in your head. You don't have like all that brain fog, and all the squirrels running around in there are very calm. And so you're just able to just come to your life decision just from a wholeness perspective.
Yep.
So yeah, that's been how it's gone for me. It's been revolutionary. And the big thing, that my big learning lesson with carnivore, the first 6 months I did carnivore, I was still restricting quite a bit. So I was still doing like macro counting, over exercising. I still very focused on the physique orientation of it, and was like getting so close to getting this physique that I wanted, that a little too much on that. And so that's been something probably from the 6 month point on that I really learned about, like the feasting concept. I really learned about, dealing with it, that you don't have to be as scared to just fully satisfy yourself, to just go to a measure with eating. Like that was a huge transformation for me as well. And everybody does their own thing with it, and we are transformed in so many different ways if you count macros or eat lean, or whatever you want
Oh
to do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But for me, just like having the permission, right? Carnivore is just this permission. It's like, welcome to this table. Like, eat the beautiful meat that you love. For me, it's going to be fatty meat, hands down, it has to be. And that the other parts will, make sense, will fall into place. So it's been just absolutely amazing. I love it.
Well, and I think also, just like you said, it's a process. And once you start to clear out the noise,
Yeah.
then it becomes more clear. It's kind of like that game when you were a child, hot, cold, like, oh, you're getting warmer. Oh, you're getting colder, and so as you
Yes.
more fat, you're like, oh, this feels good. This feels
Yes.
like the spot where I need to go.
Yes.
And when we restrict,
Mm.
we limit ourselves from being able to hear that message from our body. And whenever we feast, then we're able to really become like a team with our body. And our body
Yes.
knows we're not going to starve it. We're
I
going to
know.
feed it. And that's
Oh,
what diets are all about. They're all about starving and
yes.
restricting. And this is about feasting. Like, I wish we had another word besides carnivore diet,
I
that's why so
know.
many people say carnivore way of eating, because it is a completely different thing. It's a completely different category.
I love it. I love it. I want different vocabulary for everything. And so like I want a different vocabulary for fasting too, because like I do enjoy fasting, but it's like what Dr. Chafee will call it, a metabolic state. It is a fed state. It's not like this striving and this effort and like I'm gonna make it for 22 hours, or like I'm like having this intense striving goal. It's like I was so well nourished that this is the natural thing. I actually don't have to think about food because I'm busy. I'm busy doing stuff, you know. So
Yeah,
I want new vocab for all of it. I love it. I love it. We got to work on that.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for sharing your story. And I encourage people to go find you on Instagram at melt.that.snow.
Thank you, Jen.
Because there's so many things, and that Instagram live with Brett was phenomenal. It
It broke
really,
my heart. I was shocked. I was surprised. I was like, I didn't think I was going to talk about this, but I'll talk about this. This is cool. No worries. And that's what's so cool about carnivore too. I have been a lurker on Brett's account for a couple of years now. And I just met him on a live. We've been coaching
Bart
Bart
K.
K. Yeah. And it was,
Yeah,
oh yeah, you were there. Yeah, I was on his
yeah,
birthday party. So I got to know
yeah.
Bart a little bit because we did some coaching with him. And then Brett was there. I was like, oh, like celebrity, like carnivore celebrity. Like, oh my gosh, this is like this person that like inspired me with his cute little smiley face for all these years. And I'm on a call with him right now. I'm like, hi.
That's great. That's great.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
That is so awesome. No, it was great. And oh, whoa, my computer just went off. Sorry. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, my screen just went totally black. Okay. So, and I think having those real conversations, as uncomfortable as they are sometimes,
Yeah.
is so powerful. And I believe that they are meant to be,
I do.
and
I do.
I think that more than likely Brett, brought something out of you in that
Yes.
moment. And it was kind of a divine appointment.
I
Um,
agree.
and it was really powerful.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for being raw. Thank you for being authentic, and sharing, your testimony.
Absolutely.
So awesome. One of the things in the chat, and on the replay, I will put the link as well. We now have an easy button for this Saturday food support group. And it is literally like the quickest little link that you can go to. And then you can go into this Zoom meeting without having to remember the Zoom ID and everything else. So that is there in the chat. You can copy paste that. And then on the replay of this, I will put it in the show notes for people, so that if you want to join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. or any Saturday at 11 a.m., you can, and it just makes it easier. It's an easy button for this meeting to come and be here. Is it on your Facebook page, the button? It is not, but that will be, I'm sure this week, we will put it on there. Then I can just tell people like, okay, go to my bio or go to whatever. And that's the whole point, is to just make it more simpler, because Zoom is kind of confusing for some people, who haven't really navigated this. And so it'd be so much easier just to have a button that they can push, and then bam, they're in the meeting. Because it has been so powerful having these meetings. And I wish I could share with you guys all of the messages that I get, all the emails that I get from people who watch these recordings and their lives are changed. It is so powerful. And it's just from us telling our story, you guys. It's just from us being transparent and being honest. It is not rocket science, but it is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. So anybody else have any questions or a testimony, anything that they want to add? We've got 9 more minutes, or we can just go ahead and cut the meeting, because this is a really good place to stop. Thank you guys so much. I really enjoy this. It is the light of my life, and it is now become just my destiny, to be able to help people, and to progress, not only my own journey through this, but to help encourage other people. So thanks, guys. I will see you next Saturday.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the group. There is always so much beauty in being transparent and in really recognizing that we're all not alone on this journey. And so if you want to, feel free to join the Saturday support groups. They're every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you need more individualized care, then reach out to me and email me at innerclaritysystem@gmail.com. And I would love to walk through and show you what it looks like to work with me one-on-one. All right. Thanks.